Gregor Mendel, the father of genetics. Gregor Mendel, known as the father of genetics, was a 19th-century scientist whose pioneering work laid the foundation for the field of genetics. His life story is a powerful testament to persistence, curiosity, and dedication to scientific inquiry. Below is an overview of Mendel's life, his struggles, and his motivations. Early life and background. Johann Mendel was born on July 20th, 1822, in the small village of Hinzendorf, now Hinchichi, Czech Republic. Mendel grew up in a humble peasant family. His parents were farmers who recognized his intellectual potential early on and made sacrifices to support his education. At a young age, Mendel showed a strong aptitude for science and mathematics, which set him apart in his rural community. His early experience in the garden, helping his parents with agricultural work, sparked his interest in plants, a passion that would later shape his scientific endeavors. Struggles in education. Mendel's journey in academia was not straightforward. Financial difficulties plagued his family, and Mendel faced numerous obstacles in pursuing higher education. He attended the gymnasium in Troppau, now Opava, and later moved to the University of Olomouc. However, he had to take a year off due to illness and financial constraints, highlighting his early struggles. Despite these setbacks, Mendel persisted. At Olomouc, he studied physics and mathematics under the guidance of renowned scientists like Friedrich Franz, who would profoundly influence his scientific thinking. It was here that Mendel's analytical skills and his interest in natural sciences flourished. Becoming a monk and a scientist. In 1843, at the age of 21, Mendel joined the Augustinian monastery in Brno, Brunn in German, present-day Czech Republic, and took the name Gregor. The monastery was more than a religious retreat. It was a center for learning and scientific research. The decision to become a monk provided Mendel with financial stability, access to resources, and the intellectual freedom to explore his scientific interests. Yet, Mendel's academic journey was filled with challenges. He attempted to become a certified teacher, but failed the exam twice due to anxiety and lack of formal training in some subjects. Despite these failures, Mendel did not give up and continued to teach part-time at the monastery and devoted himself to research instead. The pea plant experiments. Between 1856 and 1863, Mendel conducted experiments on pea plants in the monastery's garden. His goal was to understand how traits were inherited from one generation to the next. He meticulously cross-pollinated thousands of pea plants, carefully recording data on traits like flower color, seed shape, and pod color. Mendel's patience and precision were remarkable. He conducted over 29,000 crosses, which, in biological terms, refer to the process of mating or breeding two organisms to study how traits are inherited in Mendel's experiments. This involved transferring pollen from one pea plant to the reproductive organs of another, enabling controlled fertilization to observe specific trait inheritance. He meticulously tracked 7 specific traits across generations of pea plants. His findings led to the formulation of what we now know as Mendel's laws of inheritance, the law of segregation, and the law of independent assortment. These laws explained how traits are passed down from parents to offspring, generation to generation. His studies laid the foundation for the field of genetics. Struggles for recognition. Despite the groundbreaking nature of his work, Mendel faced a great struggle for recognition. He published his findings in 1866 in the journal Proceedings of the Natural History Society of Brunn. Unfortunately, the scientific community of his time did not understand the significance of his work. Most biologists were focused on Darwin's theory of evolution, and Mendel's mathematical approach was too novel for many to appreciate. His work was largely ignored, and Mendel retreated from scientific research. Later life and legacy. After his experiments, Mendel became the abbot of the monastery in 1868, a position that limited his ability to continue his research. He also became involved in administrative duties and a lengthy dispute with the government over taxes, which consumed much of his later years. Mendel died on January 6, 1884, without receiving any recognition for his discoveries. It was not until 1900, 16 years after his death, that scientists like Hugo de Vries, Karl Correns, and Erich von Schermich independently rediscovered Mendel's work. They confirmed his findings and acknowledged him as the father of genetics.